Well, out again, another little walk. I'm at a place called Fritton in Norfolk. Not the one near Yarmouth. This is the one near Hempnell, sort of just off the A140, not far from Long Stratton. Yeah, quite a pretty little village. Yeah, so going to be looking at, we'll have a little chat. I'm actually parked at Fritton Church. Yeah, nice little parking spot under the trees, so the van shouldn't get too hot in the sun. Yeah, so a few things to look at. There is a pub, well, used to be a pub, with an interesting tale, so we'll have a look at that. Going to have a look for a WW2 Pillbox, see if we can find that. I know roughly where it is, couldn't see it on Google Maps. But yeah, I think it's hidden in some trees, so we'll have a good look at that. And there's a few other things like a smithy. Yeah, so we'll do the usual thing. We'll do a little bit of history, a little bit of chit chat, whatever pops into the brain at the time. See what we can find along the way. Yeah, so first of all, let's have a look at the church. So here we are, parked up down this track, which is actually marked as a footpath, but obviously it's a bit more than a footpath, so we'll be coming back along this way here. Yeah, church is just up here, and I didn't even know this was here actually. Driven through this village many times, driven and ridden. Ridden my bike, that is, motorcycle. It used to be on one of my, when I lived in Suffolk, one of my commuter routes when I worked in Norwich. Yeah, so this is St Catherine's Church at Fritton. So it has a round west tower, which is 12th century. It's also got the sort of, seems quite common in this area, a sort of octagonal bit on the top there. I see a lot of those round tower with an octagonal bit on top. I think it's octagonal, looks like it. Yeah, yeah, so it's the belfry, the octagonal bit. A bit of view from up here. Yeah, so it's octagonal belfry and the little sort of, if I get back a bit so you can see it a bit better. Sort of embattlements on the top. Parapet right at the top there, if you can see that against the sun. The north nave door is also 12th century. The south porch is 15th century. Yeah, so the windows in the nave are perpendicular style. Got a couple of like later buttresses put on there in brick. That's just started to move out a little bit of strengthening in there, a little bit of stained glass. So yeah, so this church was not rebuilt in the late medieval period. It has retained its 15th century wall paintings of St Christopher, St George and a small figure of a young looking bishop. There are also impressive 15th century panel paintings on the screen under the modern rood. Let's see if that's open. I'll have a quick look. I won't do a full sort of tour, but Remember to shut these if you come to church, because just stop the birds getting in and making a mess. So, it is open. So straight away it's a lovely looking font. I didn't see anything on the Norfolk Heritage site about the font, but might have to have a little bit of more research into that. So there's the belfry tower. Yeah, that looks like a scary set of steps, a ladder to go up there. That is definitely not at 1 in 4, which is the recommended angle. Yeah. Right. Let's see if we can find these wall paintings. Well, there's one. It's very faded. I doubt you can make anything out there. There's another little bit of painting there, little patch. Oh, this one's a bit clearer. Yeah, amazing how these things do survive. I suppose it's a little sort of out of the way church, so there we are. That's the very young looking bishop. Yeah, and there's the little steps that go up. That's a nice little church, actually. Whether you're religious or not, I think most people can still appreciate a good bit of architecture. Oh, another bit of stained glass. Yeah, that's the brood screen. Right, let's get back outside. I've got to sign the visitor's book really, but I will do that on the way back. Some interesting graffiti in there. Cutting little figureheads. Some other marks down here. Yeah, can't make out what any of it is. Right. So we'll head back this way and go down this footpath to the road or the lane and turn right towards the village. so we'll be heading in that direction. However, there is a little interesting place here, which is church farmhouse and barn. Yeah, so this is a 17th century plastered timber framed house with steeply pitched panel roof. You can see that through the trees. And there's also a 17th or 18th century barn over this side. Yeah, so it's 17th or 18th century timber frame barn, weatherboarded. Well, it's on the end. Yes, unfortunately it's got some asbestos on the roof, which kind of slightly spoils the appeal. And I don't know if it's this end or the other end. I think it might be the other end. Yeah, you can't see them. Yeah, apparently there are some owl holes, or what are said to be owl holes. Locals believe that these were to encourage martins, swallows or swifts to nest here.
Morning.
Morning.
I'm naturally curious.
Oh. Well, I just had a very interesting chat with the owner of Church Farm, and he was telling me a little bit about the area, about the church. And yeah, he also said over in this area there's plans for a huge development on prime agricultural land for a solar farm. Now, how ridiculous is that? Really, they should be putting solar panels on top of buildings, car parks, in urban areas, not in prime agricultural. I'll check that on the side, let someone come across. Not in prime agricultural land. Absolutely disgusting. So should be coming up to what was Fritton Rectory. I don't know if it still is. Along here somewhere. Oh, didn't know that was there. Little CL site. What about that? Very busy road. Right, so I'm going to guess that this is Fritton Rectory here. Not really can see much of it. Well, it's supposed to be 17th century plastered timber framed house with the 18th and 19th century additions, could be. Yeah, so many of the cottages and buildings along here are 17th and 18th century. Oh, that is, yes, the old rectory. Yeah, unfortunately this road is very busy at the moment because they're doing a lot of work on the A140, a lot of roadworks. They're actually getting round after, I don't know, 40, 50 years they've been asking for it, actually getting round to doing the bypass. But that does mean people are coming through places like this, so it's a bit of a rat run at the moment. I think you can probably tell. Yes, exactly. Fields for farming. Right, so we're heading down towards what was the Three Nags public house. Right, just see the the thatched roof of the Three Nags, or what was the Three Nags. Yeah, so there we are. Now called Three Nags Cottage. So that once was a pub. It's a 17th or 18th century thatched timber framed house. So as you can see, it's fronted in brick in the late 19th century. A small brick lean-to on the north end, which is just there. So it appears as the Nag's Head on Bryant's 1826 map and in directories of 1836 and 1879, and just as Nags on 1881 and marked as Nags on 1904 OS map. The pub closed in 1982. It had a serving hatch but no bar. The cellar was at ground level in a lean-to, which is probably that building on the side there, I would guess. So the last licensee was Daisy Mildred Maud Elmer, who died December 1982, aged 83. Must be the beer. Something to do with that. Yeah, so when the pub went from S&P, or Stewart and Patterson, to Whatney Man, they supplied a new sign which did not have the horses on it, but instead depicted three old women. I'll say that again because the vehicle just went past. Depicted three old women. Daisy was so outraged she refused to allow the sign to be hung. Watney's admitted that the signwriter employed could not paint horses. Daisy eventually got horses, but apparently they were never as good as the ones on the old S&P sign. She was a bit of a character by the sounds of it. Right, I'm going to road splits here. And I'm going to head down here, which I think is called Middle Lane. Sign there, see where we are. So hopefully this will be a little bit quieter than that road. So there's another little public footpath going on that way, which we could take. However, over this side we have, probably this one. Small buildings further down, but this has got Old Hall on the gate, so I'm guessing this is the one. So this is Fritton Hall. So it's a small timber framed manor house dating to before the middle of the 16th century. And it's got some nice, it's got crew stepped gable there, some nice hatched, cross hatched brickwork. Nice little barn. The grand west gable and large south wing added in about 1600, giving the building an L-shaped plan. Yeah, so there we are. So this late 19th century porch sits in the angle, which it does, little porchway there. To the north and the south of the house are the 17th and 18th century barns, which we just noted. That one's got a half round piece there, so that was obviously a round window there at one time. Yeah, lovely. Day again. I'm going to have to take my jumper off in a minute, I think. It's supposed to only be about 17 degrees, I think. The wind is a little bit chilly. Yes, I think this is Fritton Common, or this area here. This sort of in this little sort of triangle bit of the two roads that run through Fritton. Don't know whether we'll be able to see it. Oh, just about. I think that's it through there. That's called Island House. I think if you went down the footpath you'd be able to see it a bit better. Yeah, so that supposedly sits or stands within an early medieval moated site. I suppose, hence the name Island House. There's an owl. I don't know whether the camera will pick that up. Hopefully it'll come this way. Yeah, probably too far for the camera to pick up. Yeah, that's I used to see a lot of owls. Because obviously I used to leave, I used to commute this way. I used to leave quite early in the morning to get to Norwich for work. Yes, I did used to see quite a lot of owls. Yeah, so this is all on the common. So a few more houses over there. They're mostly 17th, 18th century. Fish in there. Can't see it now. Yeah, ornamental fish. Someone's obviously put them in there. That's heading down towards the pillbox. See if we can find that. So over in that direction, I think there's a river runs along there. So it's the other side of the river. There is evidence of some medieval tofts and ditches Yeah, so toffs, if you don't know, sort of evidence of where a house once stood. Almost kind of like a sort of platform or a regular shape that would show where a house once was. Right, we have footpath. Good enough in that direction. So somewhere over this side, on this corner, should be a Type 22 pillbox from World War II. I think I've just caught a glimpse of some concrete. I couldn't see this on Google Maps when I looked. Right, across here. Prime defensive position, right on a bend, junction. Let's see if we can get a closer look. There's a ditch there. It's there. Yeah, the other side of the ditch. Just brick covered, octagonal. Like I say, Type 22. Can't really get in there, I don't think. Let's have a little see if we can get in this field. Fortunately, it's the other side of a ditch. Get through here, maybe. Things I do. Yeah, I can see it here. So this is the doorway. Yeah, tucked in the brambles. I don't get in. If we could, it's a little bit dark. Does seem to be in reasonable condition, despite being covered in brambles. Right, well, I did manage to get in. Some stuff dumped here. That is in actually very good condition. It's a picture, it's all covered up. So you can see down that road that way, up that road that way. Well, you could if the shrubbery went in the way. And up that road that way. There's a lot of loopholes, there's even one above the door. And we've got the central pillar, Y-shaped pillar, so the Y backs onto the door. Right, let's get back on the trail. Someone's dumped a load of rubbish, as they do. For some unknown reason, people like to do that. If I get out now. Oh, yeah. Needs to be uncovered. Really? Right. So when I head off down that road ahead closed. So that's where we are. And this is where we're going. So there's all Fritton Common. And we head up this way, up this road, up this lane. Come to a corner, and on that corner was an old smithy. So we've got a bridleway cutting across here, which is actually part of the WW2 Way, or as some people say, Boudica Way. Personally, I prefer WW2. Yeah, so that's that bridleway. So that carries on along this road, which goes back towards Fritton. So this is where we are on this junction. Missing sign. Yeah, so that's the road, the other side of the green, going up there. Road ahead closed. Hopefully it'll be quiet. Yeah, so this is Blacksmith's Lane. Like I say, we're heading down towards, well, what would have been this, the blacksmiths. So we're actually in the parish of Morningthorpe, which at the time of Edward the Confessor, it was just known as Thorpe. Well, Thorpe is a kind of generic name for, just means hamlet or village, and the prefix of morning, not how it's spelt now, M-O-R-N-I-N-G, came from the word morning, spelt M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G, and it's spelt like that on Fadon's map, 1797. Now morning just means shallow lake, and it's believed it was added to the name, or prefixed the name Thorpe, just to save confusion with all the other places, numerous other Thorpes in the area. The Domesday Book recorded a population of 24 households in 1086. Right, it's just coming into view there. This blacksmith's cottage. So it's 17th century, two-storey, timber framed, with a later low-pitched roof. And on, if you look on the 1904 OS map, that is marked as a smithy. We'll just have a little walk round the bend here, see if we can get a better view of it. We'll be going up that way. Let's just have a little detour. Lovely looking building with a guard dog. Yeah, so I'm gonna guess that was where the smithy was, in those buildings there. They look very smithy like. Two angry dogs. Right, let's head up this way. Hell of a ditch there. Yeah. Bit of a ditch and bank. Sorry, easily distracted. Another little footpath going off to the left. And there's a distinct smell of chickens in the air. Which I'm guessing is what they do. What colour of that? Like I say, easily distracted. That's probably why my videos end up being so long. Try to keep them short, but it doesn't always work, does it? Norfolk Manor. Again, it's another one of these places that are well hidden. You can't really get on camera very easily. Got a great big manor that side, and you've got a little cottage here, manor cottage. Looks like they've got a robotic lawnmower there. Right, coming up to the church. There's a footpath I need to take. I'm not sure if that's it there. We'll have a quick little look at this round tower church. Don't think I'll be going inside. We've already done one church today, so there's some very pretty and grand houses around here. And look at that for a tree. Got big cones up there. Wow. There's Farm Cottage. Actually, this is St John the Baptist Church at Morningthorpe. And the old post. Lovely tower. Oh dear, Got a bit of sinkage there. Oops. Yeah, so St John the Baptist Church, Morningthorpe, consists of round west tower, nave, chancel and south porch. Although it has been subject to the good old Victorian restorations, which ruined a lot of things. Yeah, the tower has Saxo-Norman origins, and the rest of the church is 14th to 16th century. The south porch is a Victorian rebuild, and also the interior is mainly, looks like this one is locked actually, the interior is mainly Victorian refurbishment. Apparently a 15th century octagonal font survives, which we won't be able to see because it looks like we are locked out. Yeah, so apparently there are also interesting assemblage of 16th to 19th century memorials and tombs. In the churchyard are a number of unusual late 19th century gravestones with pointed OG tops and carved foliage along the edges. Ah, yeah, I can see them. Yeah, they are strange, aren't they? One little group. I wonder if that's the same family. Matilda, can't make out what that is. Can't make out the surname. Yeah, very strange. Here as well. These ones look older. So 1882. Yeah, can't make out the names. Right, I wonder where the footpath is. Could be down there. Or it could be that little track back there I walked past. Nothing marked. This might just be a little bit round. Yeah, I don't think this is it, is it? Or does it go onto the footpath? Oh, this might be it. Yeah. Oh well, there we are. So, bottom end of the graveyard to pick up the footpath. Nice to get off the tarmac. Deep ditch that side. Oh yeah, here we are, look. There's these splits there. One goes one way, one goes the other way. Let's see, let's have a look at the map. Yeah, don't want that one. Want that one. Want that one. Fritton farmer has very kindly marked the path across his crops. Which is quite sensible, really, both for the walker and for the farmer, really, because at least it does keep people on the same path through the crops who don't he doesn't lose too much. And people are wandering all over the place, you know, not good. I think that building, brick building over there, is the old schoolhouse. Yeah, so that's the old schoolhouse. Yeah, former Fritton and Morningthorpe school. Why is there always dogs barking when you're trying to do something? So supposedly clay lump. Looks like it's been faced in brick. Yeah, originally clay lump, brick porch, slate roof. Still got a slate roof. Yeah, I think the clay lump has been faced with brick. Yeah, so it was built 1841 and closed 1967. And there's the footpath sign. Right, we want to head this way. Yeah, there we are. Old school on the gate, and a lovely brick and flint wall. I do like a brick and flint wall. Yeah, looks like that's been extensively extended over the years. Right, I think we go up here, up this lane a little way, and then we should pick up another footpath. Right, here's the footpath. Unfortunately, doesn't look like, oh it has, yeah I was going to say it didn't look like that had been marked for a start, but yes that has, straight across there to that hedge line, then we sort of kick across and then carry on that way. So there's Morningthorpe Church, and Fritton Church is over there somewhere in them trees. Right, here we go, across another field. A little bit of a breeze today. Yeah, I did go a little bit later today. I was sort of looking at the weather forecast. It was supposed to be clear skies by about 12, but it can't be far off that now. There's still quite a bit of cloud about. Still very pleasant now. Kick in the footpath, not much of one, but looks like this has even been mowed along here, along the field edge. Yeah, I think what that chap was saying about the solar farm, or proposed, is all going to go across here. He did say how many acres, I can't remember, but I mean, how can you ruin that? with a load of solar panels. What we should be doing is getting the rest of the gas from the North Sea and using that. Bills will come down. They won't be subsidising all this green nonsense. Probably end up like Spain, completely losing power for 24 hours or however long it was. I think we did come close earlier this year, I think it was. Yeah, come close to total blackout. All for some ideology. And like anything we do in this country for so-called net zero isn't going to make the slightest bit of difference to world climate. In fact, the more we invest in solar panels, probably the worse it'll be, because most of these solar panels and electric cars and all that stuff mostly comes from China. And guess what China uses? And they're still building coal-fired power stations, which is worse than gas. So yeah, it's just a load of nonsense, really. Fed all sorts of rubbish, aren't we? Right, have we got? Oh, we have got a little marker buried in the bush. And again, that's all nicely trimmed. We've got to turn off somewhere, isn't that? Where are we? I lost track of where we are now. Oh, we're going along there. And we want to go on there. We want to go left. Probably where that person over there is walking. We'll be heading in that direction. I've got to assume this is the right way. Yeah, and these fields over here and behind the church through to the road, there's been quite a bit of metal detecting done there. Yeah, quite a few finds, medieval and post-medieval. Things like jettons, coins, strap ends, buckles, kind of usual stuff. Right, I think we're on. Hope we don't want to go that way. Don't think so. Do we? Carry on this way. Yeah, I am heading the right way. I did just ask that lady that was walking the other way, and yeah, this is the right track. If in doubt, ask a local. Whoa, wind is whipping across there. You can probably hear it on the microphone. I assume we're going down here. Looks like there's a footpath across there. No, this has got to be the way. Yeah, quite a lot of footpaths around here. Well worth exploring. can just about see, I think it is anyway, the black tower of the Hempnell windmill, which I think is now old people's home, just over there. On Fritton's map, that's actually marked in a different place. So it looks like there was probably an earlier mill. Because I think that is sort of 1840, something like that. That mill. Yeah, I was going to do a little, oh, here we are. Got a sign. Well, faded. Footpath sign. Yeah, I was going to do a little video on Hempnell. But I think while all this diversion is on, it's just going to be too busy, too much traffic noise, which is a bit unfortunate. So that one might have to wait. And here we are. This is a little track. And through here goes to the back of the church. Yeah, there we are. Carry on down here, and the van is, well, hopefully it's still here. Should be parked down here. Yeah, so please like, please comment, please subscribe, and yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Pity about the traffic noise, but yeah, can't do much about that, I'm afraid. Obviously, let's see this side of the church, did we? Yeah, so I didn't actually measure this one. It feels like it was about 3.5–4 miles. Yeah, quite a bit on the roads, unfortunately, on lanes. Not much on footpath. Alright, well there we are, back at the van. And yeah, I think that'll do us for now, for this video. Where to next, who knows, yet to be decided.